Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Dinobot Slug.
Transformers, defenders of truth, robots who fight in disguise.
As I mentioned in my other Age of Extinction reviews, this is the Canadian package for it, as I was able to acquire this from a Canadian seller. You got a real nice image here of Slug. Now people are quite upset that it's not called Slag. Well, I mean, that's changed over the years. But for me, I don't look at this as Slag, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. You got the nice Transformers simple logo right there. You got the Transformers 4 Age of Extinction more detailed logo up here in the corner. Come around here the back, you see his Triceratops mode, which I'm a little bit of a dinosaur fan. This isn't a Triceratops, but I'll touch on that here in a little bit. And then he's got his robot mode. Robot mode's got two swords. It says, this fiery warrior hates taking orders. Unless it means he gets to destroy something, he'll level anything in his path with a fit of white-hot dino rage. At least that kind of sounds like Slag a bit. Then you got Crosshairs and Bumblebee. But for the packaging, that is basically, like I said, it is also part of the Generations line, so it is for the adult collectors out there. But I'm not 100% sure if this is the package that we're going to get here in the United States. But really, who cares? We're concerned about the toy. So without further ado, let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Slug opened up and out of its packaging. Now, initially when I said that this is not a Triceratops, it isn't and it is. There is obviously a lot of liberties taken with this, but for me, it resembles more of a Styracosaurus. Now, the reason I say that is because the frills on his back are very, as you can see, spiny. There's a lot of jagged edges on it, which resembles more of a Styracosaurus than a Triceratops. What keeps him looking like a Triceratops are these three horns. Now, the Triceratops and the Styracosaurus are both in the Ceratopsid family for dinosaurs, but the other thing is neither of them have these horns on the underside of the jaw. So there's a lot of different liberties, I guess. So I really shouldn't say one is the other. If they want to call it a Triceratops, I guess they can call it a Triceratops, but it doesn't really have a full Triceratops feel. Also, the Triceratops had a much shorter nose horn, and the Styracosaurus had a long one like this, but it also didn't have spiky tails. So, I mean, obviously they're changing some of the elements. One of my viewers made the comment that they changed Bumblebee from a Volkswagen Beetle to a Camaro. So, is he not Bumblebee anymore? Well, obviously he still is Bumblebee, so we can call this guy Slag and not have to call him Slug. Slag is a derogatory term. It's a curse word, or I guess, in some parts of the world. So that's why Hasbro really doesn't like using it. But us as collectors, we can call it whatever we want. So if you want to call it Slag, call it Slag. If you want to call it Barney, call it Barney. Whatever you want to do. You got a nice Autobot logo there on the side of his abdomen area, but really nice looking. The only thing that I don't particularly like, I would probably say in this mode, is this tail. I wish it was the same color as the rest of his body. That just really sticks out. This is a softer rubber, so it's probably harder to paint, but you can mold it in this plastic or get it as close as possible. The rest of the horns here, these little jaw ones are, well, you can see his whole jaw is actually rubber. He's got a more rubber nose horn, and then the two top ones are also rubber, but a really nice looking dinosaur. It is a little bit small, but I think it fits overall fairly well with the rest of the figures that we're getting in terms of deluxes. Now, for his articulation, it is a little bit more limited. The arms here can sort of move like that. That's about it. I mean, he moves here at the elbow joint, but you're not getting a lot of range of motion with it. And then this section here, you can actually move these, but it's meant, the back section here actually pegs down. If you untab that, you can get a little bit more motion with it and flex this around, but then this whole thing comes up. So it's kind of ugly, but you can get some of that motion going on there. But if it bothers you that it's not all properly transformed, you're not going to get any leg articulation for the most part. He's got some toes, you can do that, and his mouth goes yum 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 yum. Got very sharp teeth. I don't understand why a herbivore would have sharp teeth like that, but you know, it's a scary dinosaur. Rawr. I guess you could say that his head looks down as well. That's part of the transformation, but you're not going to get much because I'm sure he's not going to be doing a lot of grazing. He's probably going to want to, with sharp teeth like this, kill things. So I don't know, but it is a pretty nice looking alt mode. I dig it. It's very blocky looking. I mean, when you look here, it looks like he's a rock lord almost, especially in his robot mode. He gets very rock lord looking, but I dig him. He looks pretty cool, I think. And I forgot, almost the best part are his weapons. These are also a very soft rubber, much like his horns are. These do have weapon storage here in dinosaur mode. You got a little hole. Let me see if right there. It goes right through. The instructions actually tell you to take it and put them in there. That's its weapon storage. He's obviously a flying stabby dino thingy mode. That's what you have with this. It's ridiculous. It's just dumb. Now, for the transformation, it's not hard, but it does require some finesse to actually do. Otherwise, you're just kind of pulling things out, and it's not going to line up very easily, especially when you go back to his dinosaur mode. First, if you haven't detached this already from the upper thigh area right there, go ahead and do that, and then just fold that in just like so. Take the feet, rotate these around in the back, and then bring these down. Just like so. You got his feet right here. They definitely have a very hook toe look. So far, every Dinobot that I've seen has had that. The Scorn had that. The pictures that I've seen of Grimlock have that. It's really strange. Now, this part here is a bit, like I said, fiddly to do. First, you want to detach this, but you have to make sure you get these arms positioned in a clear path so you can pull them all the way down. All these spikes like getting in the way, so bring this down. You have to pull a little bit to get the clearance for it, just like that. Then if you want to, you can rotate these around, bring out his little hands underneath here, just rotate those around, and then you can tuck these in just like that. It's very simple, but like I said, it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. Then you want to split this whole thing. Split them, just pull them here and just split the whole dinosaur. Split them in half. Then fold the head down as you're doing it. Fold these little bits down. Fold these little bits down. Bring these down, and again, like I said, a lot of spiky things getting in the way of moving him around, and I'm obviously not being very finesse-like with it, so get it down however you want to. Straighten these out just like that. Make sure you pull the chest pieces all the way out. You have to extend the arms fully, rotate these arms, get them out of the way. And now this part here is a bit of a pain in the butt. There are getting this arm out of the way, there's a little rectangular tab hole right on the side here that this guy's got a tab right that little purple dangly bit right there. That's going to go into the side. But you got to get it lined up properly, otherwise it doesn't fit in very well. Usually, and yeah, see, there we go. Hold on. Let's see. Kind of keep that on an angle. Just, I mean, fiddle with it till you get it to lock in. It's really kind of annoying to do. Make sure, I mean, if you don't have the arms at the shoulder pushed all the way back, it's even more of a pain. But, yeah, it's sometimes can be a struggle to do it. And a lot of times I pop the arm out of the ball joint. So keeping this around. There we go. Got it locked in. It's not hard. It really isn't. It just, like I said, requires a little bit of finesse to actually do it. Then just pull the head all the way down. Lift up his robot head a little bit more. And here you have Slug in his robot mode. And as I said, he kind of has a bit of a rock lord look to him. I mean, these look like rock sort of legs. His arms up here are very bulky here in the forearm area and has a very rockish sort of look. Obviously, you can see I got his weapons in here. It's perfect storage here for it. Dinosaur mode doesn't make much sense, but robot mode, you know, you can hold them pretty good. I dig this though. It's a unique look for a Transformer. It very much looks different than what we've gotten before. And again, the head sculpt is really interesting. It has a very knight feel to it, much like Scorn's did. And I think it comes across very nicely. My only, I guess, gripe with the figure is he is very hindered. There's a lot of things that when you're moving things around can bump into other places. So there's not a very fluid motion with this. As you can see, his shoulders here are on ball joints right below the dino head skeleton thing. So you can get that, but you got these little bits that stick out. So you have to keep it out on an angle to get him to move. That's annoying, honestly. These bits right here, they like moving around, and while they don't really articulate, I mean, if you move this up, you can see what's going to go on here. So you're constantly adjusting things like that. His tail just kind of dangles here. I guess you could put it up, maybe do something like that, but that looks strange. You can't keep it all the way up, and that's just unfortunate. It's a little bit better to keep it like that. His legs are a little bit easier, but again, when you're moving things around, you don't want to detach these little tiny dinosaur arms because that's a pain in the butt to get in. But at least the legs have a little bit more fluid of a motion. The knee joint looks weird, like his thighs are set back further than his shins. That kind of throws me off a little. I don't want to sound like I'm nitpicking too much because I do actually really like the way he looks. It's just, in terms of the aesthetic, he is very, well, he's got a lot of extra stuff just hanging off of him. It gives him a very unique and very cool look, but as I said, not much fluidity with it. So as you can see, the articulation wise, it's a little bit hard to get to it because you've got these panels here, but the head is on a ball joint. And like I said, I really do, oh, and I just pulled this poor little head off. There we go. Pop that back on there. I do really like the way that the head sculpt is. It really keeps with that knight look, and I think it's cool. The shoulders are on ball joints here. You get a nice range of motion with them. Rotates at the upper part of the bicep, I guess. He bends here at the elbow. The wrists don't move around, but they do move forward and back just as part of the transformation. He does have waist articulation. You can rotate it, but again, you want to be careful with the little tiny dinosaur arms. I mean, you want to keep them compressed as much as possible, but when you rotate them, you can see they bump things and then jettison outward. So that's kind of something to be a little concerned about. The hips are on ball joints, so you get a nice range of motion there. He rotates at the upper part of the thigh. He's got two joints here at the knee. You got this one right here, and then you got this one. But again, you don't really want to use this one as an articulation point because it kind of makes things look a little bit off, I think. I guess you could say he still has his mouth, dino mouths here that can talk. And I really dig how they getting these flipped back up. I really dig how that looks. That's really actually very neat looking. As I said, he does have an absolute unique look to him that I really do like. It's just, I'm not going to be getting a lot of poses with him or anything like that because it's going to knock things loose. For a size comparison, just using a figure that more people are familiar with, and I actually have sitting right here. This is the Deluxe class Armada Starscream. They are about the same height at the head, whereas Scorn was a little bit taller. And then bringing in Bumblebee, there you have the Beaster, and they're about, Bumblebee might be a little bit taller, but you have that comparison. And for a final comparison, here he is next to Scorn, and as you can see, they are about the exact same height as well. All right, now to transform him back, like I said, it takes a little bit of finesse to do. First, what you want to do, tuck his head down just a little bit, flip these little sections back, come around here, lift the arms just a little, then detach these little dinosaur arms from his side. Take those, just kind of angle those out just like that. Bring this whole section together and lift the head at the same time. Then bring the two halves together like so. Give them a nice little push lock them in. Then keep these extended out. Well, his face decided to detach. Get that squeezed together like that. Going to angle these around. Like I said, there's just so much going on here that it's kind of a pain in the butt to do. Get this around. There we go. Straighten these out. And I pulled his arm off. Just peg that back in there. Bring these down through this section here. Down through that section. Lift these sections. Separate these. Just like that. Rotate that around. Spin this around like so. Do that on this side as well. Take this on the hinge, these, and like I said, these little tiny arms kind of get in the way. Angle these out like that. Spin the fist around, and then bring these up. Kind of keep these again a little bit straight. Bring this up, and then you got a little hole section right inside here, and then the tabs there. Just bring that up, lock that into place. Do that here as well. Bring that up, kind of angle the arm, lock that into place just like so. And the most difficult part is done. It really isn't that hard, but like I said, because there's so much going on and there's not a lot of room to do it, it requires a little bit of finesse to get it to work perfectly. So lift this tail, flop that up, rotate this down just like that, fold the little feet out. Take this foot section, rotate this all the way back, bring that in. Do that on that side as well. Rotate that, bring this up, rotate the little foot down. Now, there are two little tabs. This is kind of hard to do. You want to keep these on an angle almost like that, where they're going out just a little bit. And zooming in so that you can see that you got the two little tabs right there and right there. They fit underneath right here and here, but you have to line it up just right. It's very much a pain in the butt to do. So you almost don't even want to do it, but you kind of have to lock those legs into place. So get these little tiny spines here on the outside, and then just look and position this the best you can. And if you get it right, you can see that it will tab down and lock these legs into place. They will be more on an angle outward like that, close above his butt. But that is the proper transformation form. So there you have it. And with that, here you have Slug back in his whatever tops mode. And as I said, I really do like this figure. I really feel that it comes together very nicely. In terms of dinosaur mode, whatever it is, it looks pretty cool. The color on here is really nice. Again, we don't necessarily know if this is the color that we're going to get for it. But the only problem that I really have would be this back tail section. I do wish that it was more of this darker coloring than just that. I mean, that really sticks out and looks strange. But I love the design. It's really very, almost skeletal in nature. I mean, this definitely looks like it's a bunch of bones sticking out. So I really do dig it. The transformation, as I said, is easy to do. But because of all the different parts that are jetting out from them, it does require a little finesse when you're putting them together. Especially when you're putting them back into dinosaur mode. And his robot mode comes together really nicely as well. Despite the fact that he has so much extra stuff hanging off of him like horns and spikes, there's not a lot of hindrance in his actual robot mode. I mean, his shoulders move around perfectly fine. Some stuff can get knocked loose, but overall, I don't think it's all that bad. So obviously, if you're going to tell, I do recommend the guy. There are a few minor gripes that I have with it, but overall, he's a solid figure. And when you see him in stores, I would absolutely pick him up. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Keep in touch with me. Find out recent purchases as well as all upcoming video reviews all at facebook.com/teambotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Optibotimus. Also, don't forget to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com. And if you like this review, please rate, subscribe, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.
When the gun gets rough.